Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast, and welcome to your bi-weekly reminder that tomorrow is Friday. If you're watching this, I know a lot of changes. I got a beanbag chair. It's awesome. Best thing to sleep on so far. I don't have a mic stand that is low enough, so I'm pretty much on the floor. So I'm gonna hold the mic for the time being until I can either figure out how to drop that mic stand a little bit or until I get another mic. Number 2, I am using my new camera. If you listened to last week's episode or last 2 weeks, if you listened to the last episode, then you know I was talking about how I was supposed to get a new camera. I am using that camera and I'm really liking the results so far. I'm also trying out a new filming schedule, I guess you can call it. I also said last episode that there was no way that I could film and edit in 3 days and have it be something that I'm proud of. I really thought that this episode was supposed to go out next week. So in my head, I was just thinking, oh, I'm going to film on Sunday. No, I should have filmed yesterday. So it's not that I don't have anything prepared. It's just that I don't have it all written out. If you also listened to the last podcast, you would know that I introduced the link. The link is basically a confession submissions link where I asked you guys to just tell me something, a secret, tell me a story, you want to say hi. My only rules were that it had to be legal and that if you didn't want a certain name being said in it, then don't put it in, because I'm reading these verbatim. I got a lot more, my laptop's right here. I got a lot more responses than I thought I was gonna get, to be honest. Some of these, I don't even know why they were submitted. There's some in there, someone said that they like picked their nose or something. I don't care. Give me something else. Give me something juicy. I got quite a lot of people admitting to cheating or wanting to cheat or having urges to cheat, which kind of just ties into the one I'm going to read right now. Someone who's 21 submitted, I've been with someone for 2 years, but have been seeking attention from other people. I don't want to hurt or leave my current partner, but I get a pit in my stomach anytime they express how much they love. Yeah, so that's guilt. I've been around a lot of cheaters. I've been around more cheaters than people that aren't cheaters. If you know me, you know how I feel about cheaters. You know how I get when I hear someone cheat. I will never understand a cheater's mindset because I would never cheat on someone. I've seen the damage it does to anyone at any age. I just don't really think it's that hard to break up with your partner if you're seeking other people. I also, this could be a really hot take, but I really don't think a cheater is never going to cheat again. I've had like firsthand experience with a chronic cheater, meaning like someone in my family always cheated and like would always tell me about it, and since I was like a kid, I've always known they cheated, and I just I almost think I'm like desensitized to it, but if anything, it just like really proved to me like, yeah, these people don't change. I've yet to see someone that cheats on their partner and actually regrets it and actually betters themselves. A cheater's gonna cheat no matter what, and I feel like no amount of like, I really don't think there's any sort of consequence that a cheater can face where they're really gonna care. A cheater goes into a situation understanding the consequences and understanding the hurt that they're gonna give their partner, and they still choose that, let's be honest, 30 seconds of fun, of God knows what, over the years, months, however long the relationship has been, of building and bonding and forming memories and this whole relationship. Yeah, you'll never convince me that a cheater's a good person. I've seen it ruin lives. I've seen it ruin families. That is like my one thing. I've been cheated on in the past and I forgave it, and then I got cheated on again. So if you're gonna do it, just break up with your girl, break up with your guy, break up with your partner. Promise you it would save you a whole lot more drama in your life if you just did that. Might even gain some respect points there. Yeah, cheating to me is a non-negotiable in my relationship currently. It's also a non-negotiable to Danny as well, which is great. We're both on the same page. So, and it's just the fact that like in my relationship, I could do anything to Danny. I could drain his credit cards. I can max them all out and like not pay it back. And I think even then Danny wouldn't even break up with me. I think the only thing that would make Danny break up with me is like, yeah, I don't know. I think it also just tells your character. I think I view you as a coward, because how lame that you can go cheat on your partner, but you can't just have like a simple conversation with them or just simply break up with them. I feel like that's like the easiest thing in the world to do. And the fact that you can't do that, coward behavior. Sorry. I'm not that sorry. I really, really don't like cheaters. You know, my mom always taught me to like lead with loyalty and lead with trust, lead with respect, and lead with the truth. And my mom, to this day, the number one thing she always says is, the number one thing I hate in this world is a liar. And as I grow up, I relate to that more and more every day. Just, it's so easy to forgive so many other things that a person can do to you, but to lie, to cheat, to abuse your loyalty with somebody, I feel like is like the worst thing you can do. Once you lie to someone, I feel like to rebuild that trust is really hard, and it doesn't need to be hard. You shouldn't be having to regain trust or rebuild this sort of like loyalty that you had with somebody. It's really easy to just stay loyal and just stay truthful. So that's my topic based off of the submission. So starting off with a banger of a topic, I guess. Thank you to the person that submitted that. Break up with your girl and go like live your life. I don't know, like you clearly don't want to be in a relationship. Also, one thing I wanted to maybe just say, because I never really said it, and that's totally my bad, but where you can listen to this podcast, you can listen to this podcast on Spotify if you just care about the audio version. I post these at 8 a.m. What am I in? I'm in Central Time. I post these at 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time. The whole reason I do that is that you have something to listen to on your way to work. But if you're more of a visual person, then I have a YouTube channel that goes out. It's the same thing as the audio, except the little sound effects and the little graphics that I put in, you can see and hear on Spotify. I mute those things, so you're not really distracted and you just hear my voice. So yeah, I'm really sorry I never introduced that. That's like podcast 101. I also have an Instagram that I post pretty frequently on. I have little polls, little questions, little reels that I post to keep us engaged, And then of course I have the link. All right. Anyway, new segment to the pod. Roll the intro. All right, this segment is going to be movie reviews. So there's a reason why I read the submission in the beginning and I talked about where you can get the podcast in the beginning. If you don't care about movies, dude, it was nice having you. I'll see you in the next episode where I won't talk about movies. But I think every second pod of the month is going to be a movie review pod, just because I am now better than you. I'm an A-list AMC member. Yeah, there's too many bangers of movies coming out this summer that I just couldn't say no to getting the A-list. I have no idea how AMC isn't going bankrupt with the A-list, or I just feel like not enough people know about it. It's $27 a month, which I know seems crazy, but 4 movies a week for free. Dude, you could see 4 3D movies. Let's take this into account, yeah? Every Tuesday and Wednesday, they have 50% off movie tickets. It'll come out to roughly about $12 per movie ticket. If you did that, 2 movies alone is the AMC A-list membership, right? And that's only 2 movies. But if I paid that same amount plus $3, it's $27, I could see 16 movies for the price that I paid for 2 movies at a discounted rate. I swear I'm not sponsored. AMC, we can change that, dude. I've been promoting this A-list membership to everyone I know. Not to mention the popcorn pass, dude. I don't know how AMC is making money still. The popcorn pass is like $30. You can get 50% off a large thing of popcorn every single day. I don't think you realize how big a large popcorn is. That thing is huge. Comes out to about $6. That's insane. And I love a good old movie theater popcorn, okay? That to me is like one of the best parts. Get a little side of cheese, dunk it in there, thank me later, I promise you. But yeah, I used to really love going to the theaters before, about 4 or 5 years ago. I was always at the theaters and I kind of realized like, dude, I haven't done that in so long. Granted, there haven't been movies that have really been getting me to go to the theater, but I feel like I really lost that art form over my years, so I want to take it back. And with that comes with me re-downloading my Letterboxd. And yes, this is a shameless plug for you to follow my Letterboxd, please. I actually do like pretty in-depth reviews on there, just because why not? Spoilers are ahead for these movies, so go ahead and skip to this right here if you don't want to be spoiled. But that's pretty much the rest of the episode. So again, I'll see you next episode if you're not really into talking about movies. If you are into talking about movies, walk with me a little bit. Alright, so the first film we're going to be talking about is Project Hail Mary. Now listen, when it comes to Ryan Gosling, right, I understood he is a phenomenal actor. His range in all the different parts that he's ever played in all of these years that he's he's ever been an actor. I get it. He's amazing. He's great. Good guy. I don't think he's ever been canceled. I feel so childish. I feel so stupid for not understanding, not listening to the gospel beforehand. Because I saw Project Hail Mary, and I promise you, the second the rolling credits came on and I saw that he was a producer, I was like, oh yeah, I have received the word of God into my spirit. I understand, and I agree. Gossinginator to the day I die now. Swear. There are obviously 50 billion kajillion different space movies out there in the world, but they all kind of follow the same premise. They're out there looking for something, and then the unknown does what it does of being unknown. They nearly die, and then they survive, and then they come back to Earth, and then they live a happy life. This one was pretty much fiction, obviously with them following the Petrova line. That doesn't exist in real life, although it would be kind of sick if it did. And in these movies, you're kind of chasing the same thing that he is. You're wondering how he got there and how is he going to get home. And you're doing that at the same pace that Ryan Gosling's character is doing at the same time. You're wondering how he got there. So is he. You get flashbacks of his life before. You see he's an elementary school teacher, and now you're really like, how did he end up on a spaceship? But then it cuts exactly to when his memories cut, and he's trying to remember, and it even shows like he's writing things down, and then he's looking through the pictures and everything. I think what I really loved about this movie, and you're going to hear me talk about this for the next film that I'm going to bring up, is how they edited it. Edited. Bro, how they put it together. Spoiler alert, I'm a film major. Kind of. It's a little bit more complex than that, but basically I'm a film major. So a lot of movies tend to get ruined for me because the entire time I'm thinking about, how did they do that? How is that made? Or the effect is completely lost on me because I do know how they made that, and I do know how it was made. I really wish I could just go back to the time where I watched films to watch films, but I think it's also really, really cool. I mean, it's really, really inspiring also to see like, dude, you can make anything out of nothing if you know Adobe Premiere. Even with all that being said, I think it's just put together really, really well. It follows what he's thinking as well as giving an insight to his life. You kind of don't know, did he leave behind kids? Did he leave behind a family? Then eventually that question is answered. Obviously, she's like, you don't even have a family. You have nothing to live for on Earth. Get on the ship. And you still have that element of betrayal. I mean, he's very clearly not wanting to go on this spaceship, and then he's forced on it. I can't even imagine you're literally sedated and you wake up and you're on a spaceship. Surrounded by dead people, by the way, which is even crazier. The introduction of Rocky at first, listen, I can just be a real idiot sometimes. I was really mad at first that Rocky wasn't a person. I don't know why. At first I was like, it's a rock? Why would he meet a rock? But then you think about it more and more and it's like, well, duh. Why would it be a human? He's out in space. And did I cry for like the last hour of the movie over a rock? Yeah, I did. It really gives a story about relationships, with his relationships with the people back on Earth, and just the way that he also still provided the evidence of everything he found back to Earth. I mean, they show that clip, the woman who put him on the spaceship. I'm so sorry, her name is blanking in my mind. And even the way that he chose Rocky. I mean, imagine you had this whole life on Earth. You know everything on Earth. Everything you miss and you love is on Earth. Then you choose to go back to this extraterrestrial being that you spent time with, and you choose to be with him. And it tears you apart. You know, because you want Grace to go back to Earth and you want him to be able to like live his life as normal, but you just know the whole time he would be thinking about Rocky. And you as an audience would also think about Rocky. Think about what they did Project Hail Mary 2 and Rocky wasn't in it. Would people even watch the movie? But yeah, I just think that was a really great movie. It got a 4.5 stars out of me. My full Letterboxd review is up. If you want to read my more in-depth reviews, granted, those reviews I write pretty much the next day after I watch the film, so it's pretty fresh in my mind. I do have a script here, but like I said, I couldn't finish my script, so I'm just kind of going based off memory right now. The next movie that I watched this month is The Drama. Listen, I went into The Drama. I had not watched the trailer. I didn't read a synopsis. I didn't know anything about this movie. I knew Zendaya in it. I knew Robert Pattinson was in it. And you have either of those two in a movie, and the chances of me watching it are very high. I love Robert Pattinson since Twilight. That has been my... He's also been my favorite Batman. Sorry, Might also be a controversial take, but I think he did very, very well. It's so far my favorite Batman movie. Zendaya, obviously, is just a great actress. The only thing I have yet to see her in is The Challengers or whatever it's called at this point. I hear such mixed reviews about it. I know I just gotta sit down and watch it and form my own opinion about it. It's just everything I see about it, I have no idea what to feel. I also convinced my boyfriend to go with me, because he does everything with me, but I also went with my best friend, and they watched the trailer without me. And I was like, you know what, guys, I'm just going to go in blind. I have faith that these two actors are going to do a really good job. The first thing I said when the drama ended was, oh my God, I wish I had directed this. The way the scenes, guys, walk with me here. I haven't been, hold on. I haven't been that shocked and that reactive to a movie since Saltburn in 2023. Hold on. I understand Saltburn and this movie are extremely controversial takes. I understand. Okay. Saltburn in the sense of, okay, first of all, that guy was a freak. All right. I'm not denying that. Saltburn was a really interesting movie. I'm saying that at the end of Saltburn, when he turns out to be the bad guy, when I tell you my jaw was on the floor, everybody was like, oh my God, that was so predictable. Not to me. I remember exactly where I was, like Michael Jackson had died. Okay. I remember where I was. Okay. When Michael Jackson died, I remember my whole day when Michael Jackson died. He was so important to me as a kid. Okay. And he really conceptualized death for me as a kid. Just like that, I remember Saltburn in that same way. I just remember being so shocked when he pulls the cord tube thing out of her throat, out of her mouth. I can't even talk right now. My jaw was on the floor, and I cannot sit here and say that it wasn't on the floor. I'm sorry. Now, was it odd at times? Was it really disturbing? You know what scene I'm talking about. And was it just outright evil? Yeah. But the shock value, I mean, I was shocked. And I also feel like we moved on from Saltburn a little too easily, because I feel like something else came out during that time that we moved on very easily from it. But I will forever say to anybody who hasn't seen Saltburn, just go watch it and form your own opinion. I mean, that movie, I will forever think about that movie. I mean, I'll probably tell my kids about that movie when they're old enough. But God, what a movie. What a movie Saltburn was. And that's what I could say about the drama. I mean, did they need it to have that topic? No. I think they could have come up with another topic that could have given that same shock value. That is the one thing I have about that film that I'm like, we didn't have to really go there, considering how that's still a topic that is very recent. There is nothing to fix those things. There's no gun laws. There's no regulations on that. And I think it's something that people are still very much healing from just some of the terrible, terrible things they've had to witness. I mean, you talk to survivors of Columbine, and they still have really nasty flashbacks about it. So I do think that it could have been another topic. You know, I was kind of shocked that such a movie like this has such a topic like that. And I don't know if it's telling of society that maybe society is dehumanized or desensitized to it. Anytime I hear anybody talking about that film, I don't hear anyone talking about that aspect. I hear, oh, how great Zendaya was, how great Robert Pattinson was. I never hear anything like, hey, you know what was kind of odd? The whole thing that starts the drama. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Maybe I'm just too well. But yeah. But at the same time, I also can see why they use that topic. I guess you really need a topic that is going to be uncomfortable to really talk about, or something that is going to be, I guess, taboo. I don't really know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I understand they needed a topic that was going to bring a shock value, right? But do I agree it needed to be that one? No. I feel like we could have had a shock value with anything else that doesn't involve real life victims. Yeah, that's where you kind of lose me. But again, just like Saltburn, I mean, the shock aspect of it. First of all, fuck Rachel. I think her own projection of what she did. I mean, we're also talking about how she put a special needs kid into a locker overnight. I think that is quite ridiculous, and the fact that she actually went through with that and did that is crazy. I mean, also another thing I don't see talked about in the film is that small little detail. I just feel like Rachel was really projecting the fact that Rachel actually went through with what she said that she did, and I don't know. I don't think I honestly feel like the reaction should have been at Rachel. I thought everybody was going to turn on Rachel because that is crazy. That is insane. And the fact that everyone didn't turn on Rachel, you know, I feel like Rachel's husband even then should have been like, what? Because even he's like, you never told me this. And she's like, well, it was just a funny little gaffe that happened when I was younger. Like, no, let's go back to what you just said, because that's crazy. Overall, I mean, when we're talking about how the film makes you feel, it makes you feel all these emotions that films typically don't make you feel. I mean, the anxiety. Me, my boyfriend, and my best friend, we were up on that chair. We were backs off of the chair. And at one point, I was even like, I want to leave the theater. I can't do this. Like, the tension, the anxiety, the everything. And I think when you can pull emotions like that out of an audience, that's when you've made a great film. I think I also gave it a 4.5 on Letterboxd. My full review is here. But wow. Again, I mean, just what a film in so many ways. On to a lighter topic with the next movie, The Devil Wears Prada 2. Now, in the first episode, I talked about how I didn't think that there had to be a sequel to this movie. And I still agree. There didn't have to be a sequel. But I feel like if you hated the sequel, then it's because you really expected there to be a tie between both movies, and it's not really there. I will say that you can watch the second movie without really watching the first one if you didn't really care about it. Obviously, you're not really going to understand who these people are and why people are, oh my God, you know, you're not really going to understand that. But can you understand it as a piece by itself? Yeah, I definitely do think it feeds off of a lot of nostalgia from the first film, obviously. But I also feel like it's one of those like feel-good movies. It doesn't really have to make so much sense, you know, the way Andy can just like make things happen super fast. Duh, it's a movie. It's one of those movies where you're like, well, duh, it's a movie. I had no idea Caleb Barron was going to be in it. And in the same way that Callum Harper is in it, who's like, you really have to like be on like fashion TikToks to know exactly who that is. And there was just a bunch of different other influencers in that movie that I feel like was on purpose, you know, to add that little bit of element of it being relatable, but also just showing how we've progressed within society, especially in the fashion world. I used to work for a fashion brand, and I literally at the end was just crying. I related so much to Andy's character, and the relationship she had with the stylist was a similar relationship that I had with the stylist there. And it really just made me appreciate that time that I had. And I tend to look at that time with a lot of negativity, but it really just showed me like everything I was able to learn and every relationship I was able to form. It made me really appreciative. And I don't know if like I was just really feeling the movie or what, but I was crying. I called a lot of people that I had met during that time, just being like, I'm so grateful to have known you, to have met you. And I don't know, I think that just really shows what the film was supposed to do. It's just supposed to make you feel good. Wasn't really meant to just do much than that. I mean, you're feeding on nostalgia. The plot is pretty much the same thing. She's trying to find love She's trying to balance her relationship with Miranda. She's learning, she's growing. I mean, the movie has everything you pretty much ever asked for. The Starbucks brand deal was a little crazy, especially during this time, but what's done is already done, I guess. I think I rated it a 4 just because it wasn't really a life-changing movie to me. It really was just a movie. It was really nice. It was a cute film. Did I have to see it? Not necessarily. I only saw it because I loved the first one. But if I had never seen that movie in my life, I'd also be totally fine. You know what I mean? I will say that it also really challenges, the future of where we're going, unfortunately, and it's battling AI. I think that was a really strong theme point, when this guy's about to buy out the company and he's saying like, oh, it's all AI. That's just where the future's going. And humans are scared to accept that. And it's scary because that's how people think. And Miranda's like, well, no, like you need human creativity and everything. And that's what people are fighting for. So I do think that message in that way was very important to have in a film like this, where it was going to be so popular, obviously, since everybody loved the first one. And I do think adding these influencers really also helped with marketing. I had no idea Caleb was going to be in it, but I'm sure just because I missed something that he posted. But I'm sure if you're up to date with what Caleb's doing, or you're up to date with what Callum's doing, or you're up to date with this other influencer's doing, you're going to want to see the film just to see what they're doing, and you're going to be like, oh, I know so-and-so in that film. I want to go see it. Like, I want to see what's up. Like, and then you leave and you have this important message of like, damn, like we are battling an AI and it does affect every person on earth. And I'm glad that they took that time and they took that platform to talk about that, because it's a real thing that we're having to deal with, especially creatives in this industry. Graphic designers alone, I hear countless times from my graphic designer friends where their bosses will just be like, hey, we plugged this in the ChatGPT and we liked what we saw. So we don't need your designs anymore. And it sucks to hear that as a creative. The line that absolutely gutted me was "Forever My Girl." And I think that's the moment where I was just like, I was sobbing my eyes out. And again, just like my relationship in my previous job with the stylist, that is 100% something he would have told me. And I was just breaking down crying, and he sent me the nicest message ever. And yeah, I just feel like that was a really, really great movie. Nothing really much to say about that movie other than it was good. Now, this is going to be the last movie, and it's going to be really difficult for me to get this all out, I guess. The last movie I saw was Michael. So sorry there's an awkward jump there. My camera stopped recording. It is overheating. So we need to wrap this up. As I said earlier, Michael Jackson was really, really important to me growing up. I remember where I was when he passed away. It was really serious to me. He was like my number one artist. There's this one shirt that all through my childhood you just see me wearing. I never took it off. I never wanted to take it off, and I'm so sad I no longer have it. The thing about Michael is I have seen more well-structured, well put together films and YouTube videos that are an hour long. And this film is over 2 hours long. Starting off, Jafar, you killed it, brother. I don't think anybody could have done Michael the way Jafar did. Coleman Domingo, brother, I didn't even recognize you for the first half of the film. Amazing. Completely transformed. When we talk about the way that it was edited and filmed, the transitions from Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and then at the end of the film for Bad, gorgeous transitions, you know what I mean? And I think if you're looking at this film like, I like pretty shots and I like Michael Jackson's music, then you're gonna love this movie. My boyfriend rated this movie like a 4.5 out of 5. And I think when you look at it in that way of how it was edited, how it was put together, then yeah, the rating's pretty high for me too. But when you get into the details, that's when the rating starts to drop. First of all, that lawsuit, man, whoever that lawyer is, you calculated that very well, huh? With the lawsuit, so much of what happened before Off the Wall is cut, which is so crucial to Michael's story. But whatever, it has to get cut. LaToya asking to not be part of it, also just makes it super awkward. There's like a family shot in the beginning, and it's like two of the sisters aren't there. Where are they? I mean, there is a lot of controversy with this film in general. I mean, you have Paris really just fighting for the fact that all of it is lies. And she also will sit there and just be like, you guys are going to like the film anyway, so like, who cares what I'm saying? And I get what she means, because this biopic is being so heavily praised right now when you have his daughter being like, this is all a lie. It's not true. It's not real. I think with what they could do, I mean, with people not wanting to be a part of it, I mean, you have Diana Ross, who is a whole other can of worms, and how she doesn't want to be involved is really, really telling. And I think with all of that, it's just really difficult to form a biopic about someone. But at the same time, you know, the rolling credits started, and you see that his own firstborn son is a producer along with all of his brothers. So, but then at the same time, you think about it, and you think about how his family also tried to sell all of his music video pieces for money, and Lady Gaga had to swoop in and save that for him and preserve them. And how hilarious is that? You're making a biopic about your own brother, and you didn't have your own brother's clothes. You had to go to another celebrity and be like, hey, can we borrow that really quick, please? We'll give it back. Swear. I think that's really embarrassing, and I hope that they really kind of felt the awkwardness of that, because that's ridiculous. Also, just like the part of like the manager suddenly like being this guy that's like so close to Michael when like they couldn't be further from the truth. And I feel like the relationship they portrayed Michael having with his manager, they should have portrayed into his security guard, because he literally considered his security guard a father. But in the movie, you literally just think that like they're close because of proximity, and it's not that at all. You also have like when they film the Bad music video, when he's like, oh, I need you to do me a favor, and then you just have these guys show up in blue and red bandanas. I had to explain to my boyfriend that, oh, in the actual Bad music video, he had real life Bloods and Crips in the music video, and they danced together. And my boyfriend was like, oh, like I didn't know that. And it's like, yeah, because it's not explained. Also, they have like these like gang members with them, and then they don't even dance. They're just like, oh, like nice. So I don't know why they didn't dance. I feel like that was so awkward. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna put you in my music video of y'all just sitting there and watching me. Like, I don't know. Also, the scene of when he wins 8 Grammys is just like him with like paparazzi, and it's Don't Stop Till You Get Enough like as an overlay. Feel like if you're gonna make a biopic and you have all this extra time because you couldn't put anything from Off the Wall before Off the Wall, why couldn't you just like maybe go a little more in depth through that? And oh, I knew it. And when they were playing Human Nature, I was like, this is going on way too long. They're going to end it here. And then they ended 5 minutes later. And I'm like, I knew they were going to end it here. And I feel like I thought that part 2 was confirmed after the first biopic came out, because they saw it did really well. And they're like, all right, we have the budgets for this. But the fact that the first movie ends with, oh, his story continues. Okay, so you knew this was going to be a part 2 or a multi-part series, and you still chose to rush it and to not really give it the attention that it deserved. I feel like we were doing really well chronologically. I mean, like, we really focused a lot on like him growing up and the abuse he suffered from his father and everything like that. I feel like we could have gone a little bit slower, given more attention to other parts of his life, and made it a bit more accurate, in my opinion. Also, this is so random, not really necessary to the story, but the makeup, holy shit. There was like one scene where he's like literally going to bed, and that eyeliner, I mean, it is there, mama. It is sharp. And then there's like another scene where he's out and about, and the eyeliner just isn't there. And I don't know, it kind of seemed like they were using the eyeliner to kind of give Jafar like Michael Jackson's eye shape and eye form, but also acknowledging the fact that Michael Jackson did wear eyeliner. And I don't know, it's super wonky. And during Thriller, I don't know what happened with the prosthetics, but you could clearly see it under the foundation. And I'm not a special effects makeup artist by any means, but I just feel like you're putting all this money towards it. Not one person was like, whoa, cut. let's smoothen that out, mama, because damn. And I said this when this was first released or first announced, really. And I just said, I really hope it's not like Bohemian Rhapsody, where you can kind of tell the producer, the writer, the director, whoever really thought of the AIDS concert scenes and then kind of built around it. They made it seem like that AIDS concert was the biggest thing that ever happened in Freddie's life. And then they rush him coming out. They rush him making the album. They rush him coming up with all these other things. And then this concert comes out and it is like the longest thing in the film. I feel like with the Michael biopic, the parts that were heavily thought of, or at least what made them really think about doing a Michael biopic, was all of these like concert scenes. I mean, the victory tour, the final tour, that was obviously had so much more thought than any other scene, as well as the human nature scene, as well as the thriller scene, and as well as the Jackson 5 scenes. It's just my only thing with biopics. And I've said it, if they ever made like a George Michael biopic, that I just really hope it's not like that. George Michael is another artist that I really don't play about, just like Michael Jackson. And it would really hurt if they just like minimized him to just like wake me up before you go or something. But yeah, these are the movies that I saw this month. I'm actually going to go see the Attack on Titan movie right after I finish filming this. And then tomorrow I'm saying the Billie Eilish movie just because I can, because of the A-list. I'm telling you, I'm just watching movies just to watch them at this point. And I'm seeing Billie Eilish in 3D because I can. But yeah, I would love to know how you feel about these movies and your opinions about these movies. Let's be nice. Let's be respectful to each other. At the end of the day, they're just movies and our opinions don't mean anything. But yeah, the link will be on my Instagram and also in the description below. Feel free to leave me anything so we can chat about it next episode. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, audio version on Spotify, video version on YouTube. And I'll see you guys next episode for your reminder that tomorrow is Friday. Bye.